Hey y'all, how are you? I'll move some pins. I've done a little bit of rearranging. Yeah, I got it into my head Monday afternoon, late Monday afternoon. This craft table, which is where all my computer stuff is sitting on, it wobbles with the microphone boom arm. So when I want to get to a point where I can do live videos, I downloaded OBS, which is free, and I should be able to do live videos with it and rotate the camera. So I should be able to film. One of the things I figured out though is that moving the desk, which has this pretty red surface over here, I don't have quite enough width. So I'm going to go back to, I'm going to put this back together and use it on the craft table because it is so heavy and solid it doesn't wobble, and just put it right over to the side because the computer is right here, the tower. Put it right there, and the microphone is right here, and I probably ought to put it where, there we go, where it can actually pick up my voice. So it's going to be a little bit louder now, and I can face this webcam, and then I could have a webcam right here, and it'll face down, and I could just kind of move over a little, and hopefully that'll be a good live setup, because if I were to do live over there, I couldn't see the computer screen anyway. I'd have to use my tablet for chat. And if y'all have been paying attention, I don't like touch screen. I like a real keyboard. It's one of the reasons why I'm not a big fan of the phone thing. I have fat fingers. I need something I can touch screen in me, not friends. There have been quite a bit of evolutions already with One Book to Live, which is why I wanted to change things up just a little bit, because I thought what I was doing was giving me enough freedom to get some things done, and yet change things as I went, and I think it's doing that. So I have my hair pulled back in this thing. This barrette's not cooperating. We're going to my mom's. It is 7 something in the morning. I've been up now for 7:20. I've been up for about 30 minutes now. I got ready, just the basics. I don't have on very much makeup at all. It's gonna be humid today, but we are going to my mom's. Mr. Rockstar's going to try to fix her toilet, and I have some more probate stuff I have to do. One of the reasons why I brought up the live camera and the changes is that the changes are for digital, and then I'm going to talk about some of the cons with digital. I took some notes, and I'm going to, so I can see, because y'all just have to bear with me. It's really early in the morning, and I did this already, and it would have been up yesterday, but my virus scan found a virus, and it found some malware, and it quarantined all kinds of stuff, and I had to get rid of all of that, and in the process my computer had to restart, and once it rebooted and everything, I guess I didn't save my edited footage and all of that very well, because it glitched again. Yeah, okay, so I'm redoing. So I'm going to read what I have to y'all, and then I'm going to just talk because I'm not quite awake yet. And the ADHD, part of it's reading, part of it's not. I just took some notes. I have some bullet points. So with so much of our lives driven by technology, this digital age that we are in, I feel like we lose something in the real life connections that we have, in the connections that we have with others, in the connections that we have with the world, with our surroundings. But if you are like me, have you been out to a restaurant and you've noticed that, like, I've seen a whole family, 5 or 6 of them, and every single one of them is either on a phone or a tablet, and they're not talking to each other. I could be talking to my daughter, and then the phone is constantly making noises, and she's texting people in the middle of our conversation. My son isn't really texting people, but he is reading books on the Kindle or playing games. You know, these fancy phones, and I don't have one. These fancy phones nowadays, they have a lot of bells and whistles, and you can, I mean, a lot of people now, they're not using cameras. I have to use cameras. I can't use my phone to do video because my phone is not, it doesn't have all those bells and whistles. But, and I'm not complaining about the bells and whistles. I'm not complaining about how advanced technology has come. I'm complaining because we have lost our way with honest face-to-face communications. We've lost those connections. Used to be, when you were in the grocery store line or in line somewhere else, sometimes that brought up conversations with people. People actually talk to each other. In restaurants, in grocery stores, anywhere, everywhere. Nowadays, we're so busy looking at our phones, we're not even talking to our family members, much less strangers, hardly. But with so much nowadays being technology driven, the digital age, I think we've also lost an aspect of our creativity and our imagination, our connection with our surroundings. And that's why I think part of it is drawing from real life as well. I am like everybody else. If I don't have something in front of me, say if the prompt is blueberries. Now if I were at my mom's, I could draw they have a blueberry bush there. Blueberries grow wild in their yard, and they're delicious. Or if I don't have any blueberries here at home, I have some frozen in my freezer. But let's say the prompt is shades of blue, and maybe I have the blueberries in my freezer, but I don't have a bluebird handy in the yard that will sit still, or there aren't any blueberries, there aren't any bluebirds around for me to take a picture of and use the picture as a reference, or there are no blueberries around for me to take a picture of or to draw from still life. Then I'm like everybody else. I will Google it, and I will find an image that I like, and I will draw from it using photos as references. But there's something about drawing from real life, not from an image. There's something about the interactions that we have with others. There's something about sitting down at dinner and talking to the people that are at the table with you. There's something about reading a book in your hand and flipping the pages. I'm very much an analog person. So having said that, knowing that I'm very much an analog person, but I like the things, the tools that technology has given us. I like the combination of being able to use technology and still doing things in a tactile, analog way. which is why I think it's very interesting that this year for One Book July they're doing digital. Well, I doubt very seriously if I'm ever going to be a planner or a journaler digitally. I do want to or learn how to do digital art, simply because I would like to be able to have some things in practice. I would also like to be able to do little doodles, maybe things to make little stickers and stuff like that with. But I still have noticed the difference between when people do things digitally, say for the little printables, the little stickers, and when things are hand drawn and then made to be an image. I like the hand drawn ones better. But using our imagination when we are drawing from real life, drawing from a picture is quite different than drawing from real life, from still life. When I'm looking at a building and I'm drawing it, I don't know what the technical term is, but I guess the picture renders more of a, it's not the same as when you look at it yourself. A perspective, I don't know what it is. People have talked about it, but I can't remember what that word is for it. But also, what we don't get when we are looking at a photograph rather than being out in person is the surroundings. So if you're looking at a picture, you don't know what's right over to the other side of that. So you don't get a feel for the whole environment of the picture that you're drawing. You can't hear the birds sing. You can't hear the birds sing. You can't feel the sun. And I've realized that the more I get out and the more that I do the outside urban sketching, plein air sketching, whether it's in my front yard or down the road, the more I pick up on the nuances of all of the things that seem to matter when I'm doing that. Like, I'm not sure of how to describe it, except that I feel much more connected, and it feels much more personal, and it feels much more authentic when I'm doing it in real life. Or if I take a picture of somewhere that, like yesterday when I went to the post office, because Monday I got so busy, by the time I looked up and I was like, oh, I got to go to the post office, I happened to look at the clock and I didn't have time to make it there before they closed. When I went to the post office yesterday morning, I took a picture of this church with a steeple, and I'm going to insert it into here at the end so you can see. I took two different pictures. The one picture I took, I noticed when I came up on the screen that I take my camera with me when I go places, the little camera, and I noticed that the pole, the power pole, and the line that was right in the way of the steeple, and I really wanted to capture the steeple. So I took the picture, and then I took another picture without the power pole. I moved over so that perspective changed some. And the post office is right across the street. Now, yesterday's page, I only finished half of it because I'm going to print out the picture when I get back this evening. So here's my post office. Here's my empty boxes. This is where I was having my oil changed. And then on this side, I'm going to put the picture and then draw the picture. Maybe I'll do the picture as a tip-in, but I'm going to draw the steeple. I may end up drawing it in doing a little sketch in there and then doing the bigger sketch in the sketchbook. But so I was there and I took that picture because I didn't have time to sit in the parking lot and draw the picture. But I thought to myself, what if I take the picture and I go home and I draw it, and then I come back, because I'm going to start going every other Friday to the post office, so that I have a time limit for these postcards, so that I can finish up these postcards and get them mailed out to people. It's the only way I'm going to do it, is if I give myself like a time frame and I get things done. And it's fun I had a blast putting the little packages together for Bree and Persephone. The next one I'll be sending out, I have a package I need to put together for Jen, and that one's going to go out. And then I have some stuff for Helma and for Ro. So I'm going to send out anywhere from 2 to 3 every other Friday until I can get them all done and all gone, all out. If I go to the post office every other Friday, it'll give me a chance to, like, some days I won't be rushed, and I can sit in the parking lot with my sketchbook and draw it and watercolor it and do like a, you know, urban sketching in my car. The post office is too busy and there's nowhere really to, I'd have to stand, or I could sit on the hood of my car, I guess, or back into the parking space and sit on, but my trunk is a fin, so that wouldn't work. But I could do the plein air sketching from my car. And there are quite a few old buildings, and maybe every single time it won't be that church. I can go right down the road from there and do something else, somewhere else. There's quite a few places. I noticed while I was out driving, because I have my camera, I noticed while I was out driving that it was almost like looking at it from a whole fresh, renewed point of view, like almost like a tourist. Like I was seeing things for the first time, because I started paying attention once I started thinking about the places that I could go that I would want to take a picture of and paint, sit there and paint, take my chair, my little bag with me, and go and sit there and paint. And I was like, you know, I need to go to places more than just the park. I want to actually try a few different things. The only way I'm going to get better is if I am actually out here getting myself out in the midst of stuff and you know, sketching and watercoloring. When we draw what we see, it's our own perspective, our own interpretation, which is very much authentic to us. Now, that's not to say that you can't do that from a photograph. You can make it your own. One of the things that I've noticed is that you can put somebody in the same place looking at the same view, or give them a photograph of the same thing, and everybody's just going to come out different. It's all going to look different because it's how we look at things. And I like that personal experience of it. I like that it's different. Our sketchbooks, our journals, our writings, everything, it's all personal. They're an extension of ourselves. My journals, my sketchbooks, my writing, it's an extension of myself. And sometimes I think we just need to kind of break the ice. It's like that fear of the blank page, that very first page in a journal or a sketchbook, or when you sit down to write. And it doesn't have to be the first page all the time. It could be the blank page staring at you the next day, you know. So sometimes we just have to kind of make a mistake, draw a crooked line on it, and then move on, you know. Then there's nothing to be afraid of, because you already made that crooked line. You already, you know, or type a word that makes absolutely no sense, and then, you know, or just type any word, and then you've got a word on the screen and it's no longer blank, and you've already got something out of place, so that you can just move on from there. I don't know, that's the psychology part of it. I think sometimes our purpose for our journals, our sketchbooks, or writing are sometimes not necessarily our purpose, but our goals, plot, or the character art, things change, and we have to, sometimes we roll with it. Not only am I chronicling my life in my journals, but I'm also chronicling my personal development, my thoughts and my feelings and my opinions, and I'm doing much more of that. Used to have like a completely separate notebook for that stuff, where I took notes about books that I read, where I took notes about videos that I watched, where I write down information, research that I do for videos. And what I've done now with One Book July is I have one book, and so here is where I'm planning my weekly. And then this, I haven't gone in and colored, but I'm going to. This is Monday and Tuesday's page. And then this is today's page, and it's where I just started. Well, during the day, as things progress, I will do a couple of doodles now. I'm actually writing quotes and notes, and instead of doing it in here, which is what I decided yesterday, I took this out of there. I'm going to save this. This is a half of an enigma that I took gently apart and then recovered. I looked at how to do that, and I'm going to put this aside and save it. And when I'm done with that B6stology, I'm going to start using this. When this gets almost done, I'm going to message Steve at Taroko Design, and I'm going to get 1 or 2 breezes or an enigma, and I'm going to let him know that I'm taking it to Staples and I'm having it cut down to B6 size. When is he going to get the B6, the regular B6? Because we need B6 sizes around here. People want B6 journals. You know, if he doesn't, then I'll just continue to get the breeze, I guess. I'll see whichever one turns out best. Maybe I'll get 2 breezes and an enigma, and I'm going to have Staples cut them down, because me cutting them down, I don't have a guillotine, and until I can get a guillotine, my pages are not going to be very even. My X-Acto knife, I need a new blade. It just doesn't work with me. I need a guillotine, and I'll do them myself, or I'll just keep continuing to get Staples to do them. Shakespeare said, "We are each stuff as dreams are made of." That was in The Tempest. And my dreams, my hopes, the stuff that I dream of, my hopes, my goals, I write those down. And there's this part of me who will always want an Omni journal. And I think that kind of planning and the overall kind of commonplace journaling can all go in that one notebook. Maybe I'll just start doing more tabs, and I start using the index more. John, if you're watching, the end of June, the beginning of July, I did order one from her. I got the beach themed one. It does feel quite nice. It is much better. I'm going to want to order another one to go in the front of this, so I have one for the planner and one for the journal. But I think figuring things out, see, for a while I was like stuck in that I want to do one book for every single thing, but my ADHD brain doesn't like one book for everything. I like having some things in a book, and I like having some things in another book, and I have to sort of compartmentalize, but then I need sort of a grand central station, which is how this book will work, because I can do little doodles in it, and I can write out things that happened during the day, and it's the planned portion where I have the to-do list, and then it has notes on it, so that when I go to do these pages, I actually have information about what happened during the day on those pages. Now, this is Monday's page, and right here they saved, those divers saved those kids in Thailand. It's been on the news. So I did the cave with the thing, and then I've been practicing with faces, and I put "You Are Tremendous." That came from the little Tremendous Tiny, the lady who made these things that I got a while back, the little shark one. Here's what she made those, and I did the little mouse and the editing thing because I was getting the One Book July video up on Monday. And what I wanted to kind of chronicle was different things about what was going on. And I did that. The mouse, actually this was Sunday. Yeah, because I had Sunday was where I was filming and getting the editing done. I was trying to get the One Book July video up. Mr. Rockstar worked the whole weekend. at night. And so Sunday evening, I was trying to get it done. I didn't get it completed though. And then Monday, here's the one desk. I've moved it in front of the window, the long desk. So now it's the craft desk. And here's the craft table, and it has become the work desk. The, you know, and I just chronicled some different things. And so then we'll get to today, yesterday's page, like with the post office and the oil change, and then I will do the church steeple over there. But I am taking notes in the other. So the other is actually kind of very much like an Omni journal, but this is more like an artist journal. And then it's documenting my life. And then I have my sketchbook for like prompts or for whatever. And I have the two different sketchbooks. Actually more than that. But if I can compartmentalize it in my head, because I kept finding myself wanting to do, but if I do everything, I'm going to have like 10 pages for one day in a notebook. And my notebooks are going to last me for maybe 6 weeks. And if 100 pages worth of a notebook lasts you for 6 weeks, that's ridiculous. So I knew I needed to kind of compartmentalize things a little bit better, and get things sort of wrapped up in my head, so that my thought processes work for me. And then that way, in that book, if I'm writing, if I'm talking about a book, if I find notes, if there's a book that I'm reading and I want to take notes, I can take notes. If I want to talk about how much I enjoyed the book and that I got a new book, it would go in here. If I'm taking notes out of the book, it would go here. I think that's a good, I think I'm on a good, I think I'm doing pretty good. So the last thing before this coffee chat ends up like way too long. We all know how important it is to exercise our bodies. I especially know since I've gained a little bit of weight again and I've got to lose some weight. But according to studies, and I wrote this down, it's just as important to exercise our creative mind. Actually, exercising our creative mind actually reduces our chances of getting type 2 diabetes, heart disease, arthritis, and Alzheimer's, because it lowers the level of cytokine, interleukin. That sounds like that supernatural Kentucky something. 6, which is the marker for those things. I mean, I've known for a long time that journaling, art, sketching, writing, anything like that is good for us. It helps reduce stress. It helps me with anxiety and depression. Planning and list making helps me with my ADHD. There are a lot of different benefits to creative things. Journaling, sketching, daily art, daily writing, morning pages, writing fiction, crocheting, all these creative things. Music, Mr. Rockstar would agree with that. And it does make a big difference in me, I think. I can feel how much calmer, how much more together. Some days better than others. You can usually kind of tell when my anxiety is bothering me, because the ums and the hesitating and the pausing is worse today, this morning, which is why I really wanted to get this done Monday or Tuesday, and why I'm so irritated. The virus, man, that just really ticked me off. But I have to go do probate paperwork, and it always makes me anxious when I have to do that. So this today is not about the topic that we're talking about. It's just because I am anxious today, and I will be anxious all day until I get that taken care of. So getting to a point where we have things set up and finished with that, it's just going to be, completely done and over with. So anyway, I'm just gonna stop. I feel really good about what I'm doing. Like I said, I'm gonna post some more pictures to Instagram. I'm trying to do that. I meant to do one yesterday and meant to post a picture and I didn't. Part of the reason I don't post as often as everybody else is because I don't do it from my phone. I either do it from the computer, an app that I have for desktops for Instagram, or I do it from the tablet. And the tablet was completely dead and it was charging. And I took a 4.5 hour nap yesterday while I was waiting for the virus scan to do its thing. And I woke up and was going to redo the video, see if I could edit it and get it up and everything yesterday evening, but it was just like, so it's like, you know what, I got me some dinner. Mr. Rockstar was still sleeping because he worked the night before. He got off yesterday morning and he put gas in the lawnmower and he did all the yard work and a couple of things around the house, and then he passed out. He slept for 14 hours. He was exhausted. But I ended up just crashing. I was still exhausted even after a nap. I think it's we both have been feeling really anxious lately. His dad's not doing very well, and we're worried about my mom and the probate paperwork, and then he's been working and I've been working, and we've been trying to clean up a few areas in the house that have really needed attention. But until lately, it's just been we've been concentrating more on getting things done instead of trying to do it all at one time. The last few months we've been trying to do certain areas, do bits and pieces at a time, and we've gotten to an area where it's a really big area, and so it's just been challenging and it's tiring. We had a lot of stuff in the attic, and we had a lot of stuff in the purple room. I had to clean out all my stuff from the container that was at my parents'. I did that before my dad died. I'm not selling my shed to my brother. We are hopefully going to take tax money and move it here, and then fix my dad's truck. So, but yeah, so I'm gonna go because now I'm rambling and this is getting way too long, and I'm probably just gonna put out some of that. To tell you the truth, I don't know. I may keep some of it in. I'm gonna go because I'm anxious about the probate court and it's coming out in the video. So I'm one of those people, though, I think it's just as important for a lot of the stuff that we do digitally that we also do things analog, that we keep connected to ourselves and others and our surroundings, our environment and the world through real time. And I say that because to me, I don't know, I think I know for me, as much as I'm on here, I need to have time away from the computer. As much as I am on the computer, I need to have time away from it. As much as I draw inside the house, I need to go ahead and get outside and draw. And like I said, even if it's just in the yard, even if it's just in my car and I'm looking at something, one of the benefits of having a convertible is that I could actually put my top down and, park under a tree where I have some shade and do some sketching. So there's no excuse for me. There's really no excuse for me not to get out and do that more. And I know part of it's just about nerves. It's about being anxious about doing that in front of people. But getting out yesterday when I went to the post office and looking at everything, seeing it from a different perspective, from like I was a tourist, made such a big difference. I feel so much better about it having, I don't know, it was like I saw things that I remember seeing way back when I first moved out here, because I'm not from here, I'm from Charleston. So I remember seeing things and going, oh, I forgot about all of this stuff that's out here. But there are a lot of places here. I just have forgotten about them because, you know, I'm, yeah. So, y'all have a good one, and I'll see you again soon, and take care. Bye now.